If I asked you to name the healthiest vegetable in the garden, you'd probably say kale, or spinach, maybe broccoli. I doubt many of us would choose lettuce. I've been growing lettuce here in Kodiak, Alaska for more than 40 years, and I've always thought of it as a dependable salad crop. But I recently came across some fascinating research that made me see this ordinary veg in a whole new way. Researchers have discovered that lettuce contains natural compounds that may help improve sleep. Now, is this really true? Today we'll look at what the research found, separate fact from fiction, and discover why this humble vegetable may deserve a little more respect. Hi, I'm Marion Owen. After more than 40 years of gardening, I still get surprised, and I love that. Every now and then, I stumble across something that makes me see an ordinary plant in a whole new light. And that's exactly what happened with lettuce. I first learned about this research from Dr. Michael Greger. He's the founder of nutritionfacts.org. If you don't know his work, he's a physician who has devoted his life to reviewing nutrition research and explain what the science actually says, not the latest fad or headline. His discussion of lettuce sent me down a rabbit hole, and I thought, I have to share this with my fellow gardeners and cooks. Most of us grow lettuce because it's easy, productive, and one of the first vegetables we harvest each season. Fresh from the garden, it's hard to beat. But after digging into the research, I realized that lettuce may be doing more than filling our salad bowls or wraps. Let's start with the problem researchers were trying to solve. Sleep. Maybe you've been there. You're really tired. You crawl into bed. But your brain didn't get the memo. The next thing you know, it's 2 o'clock in the morning and you're staring at the ceiling. We've all had nights like that. Poor sleep doesn't just leave us feeling tired the next morning. Research has shown that even a week of getting only 5 or 6 hours of sleep a night can affect the way our blood vessels function. Amazing. Over time, poor sleep has also been linked with an increased risk of several chronic diseases. That's why researchers are always looking for safe, natural ways to improve sleep. Good news, right? Which brings us back to lettuce. Of all the vegetables researchers could study, why lettuce? It turns out this isn't a new idea, because the ancient Romans reportedly used lettuce as a natural sleep aid. Who knew? Scientists eventually discovered that lettuce contains naturally occurring compounds, including one called lactucin. If you've ever noticed that romaine lettuce has a slightly bitter taste compared to, say, leaf lettuce, that's one reason why. Of course, finding a compound in a plant doesn't really prove anything. The real question is, does it actually work? One thing I appreciate about Dr. Greger's work is that he does what he calls put it to the test. I like that. I'll put a link to his article and video in the description below. Researchers first tested lettuce in animals. The results were encouraging. So they moved on to people. One study looked at older adults who were struggling with insomnia. Participants received either lettuce seed oil or a placebo. Within a week, many of those taking the lettuce seed oil reported significantly better sleep than those taking the placebo. Researchers then followed up with what's called a, get ready, randomized, double-blind, placebo-controlled trial. involving 100 pregnant women. Here's what happened. Those taking ground lettuce seed capsules experienced significantly better sleep quality than the placebo group, with no reported side effects. Cool. Now, before you head out to the garden and harvest a head of lettuce for bedtime, keep this in mind. These studies weren't done using salads from the kitchen. They used lettuce seeds or lettuce seed oil. So we can't honestly say that eating lettuce before going to bed will help you sleep. The research simply doesn't show that. If you've watched my videos for very long, you know I like to tell it like it is. And it's easy to get excited about new research. But I think it's even more important to stay honest about what we know and what we don't. Even so, I think this research is really fascinating. Not because lettuce is suddenly some miracle vegetable. It isn't. But because it reminds me how much there still is to learn about the plants we grow every year. I mean, a carrot isn't just a carrot, a beet isn't just a beet, and lettuce isn't just lettuce. The more scientists study common vegetables, the more interesting they become. Will I keep growing and eating lettuce? Absolutely. Not because I expect it to solve my sleep problems. I'll keep growing it because, well, it's delicious and it's productive and it's easy to grow and one of the healthiest vegetables we can put on our plates. And now I have one more reason to appreciate it. After more than 40 years of gardening, I'm still learning stuff, and that helps keep me young at heart. I hope it does you too. So now I'd like to hear from you. Do you grow lettuce every year? And what's your favorite variety? Let me know in the comments below. I read all the comments personally. And remember, keep your hands in the dirt and your eyes on the stars. Have a great day. Cheers.